Hi, it's Rex Sykes, and I'm happy to be with you today. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad if you're in the chat room, that's an awesome, awesome thing. It's a beautiful day where I'm at, but then every day it's a beautiful day where I'm at because if you want it to be a beautiful day, you start with it being beautiful on the inside and you make it beautiful on the outside, regardless of what conditions are, whether it's cold or rainy or icy or hot or whatever, you determine the beauty. Welcome to this chat. This webinar is part of the Mind Design program. It's not one of the official episodes. It's a bonus session, essentially, is what it is. It's designed for you and me to be able to talk and to converse in the chat room. Hi, Mike. How you doing? And others. And that's fantastic. Okay. I will not always be able to see the chat room because there's things that I'm doing over here, but I'm moving something like this to see if I can see it. And let's just begin. I mean, let's jump in and say, well, let's do some housekeeping first. All right, so there are other sessions for Mind Design that are coming. There are some overlap sessions. In other words, today is going to be a little bit of an overlap. If you don't have any questions or if you're not watching me with live, then what I suggest you do is write down your questions, send them to us by email, and then we'll answer them in the next webinar bonus session like this. All right. This is for the pods. This is for Mind Design students to, as I said, be able to either have a live interaction or get some of their questions or their concerns answered. There are other programs too. The Law of Attraction program, the NLP program. There's a program on beliefs and surrender. And I'm going to touch on a little bit of those things today. So it's also kind of a prelude or precursor to some of the other programs that you might be interested in checking out and diving into. But it's also a big part of what Mind Design is. See, Mind Design, when I developed Mind Design, it was around me having issues and feeling that life sucked and that I sucked and that I needed some help in transforming myself and living a life that was productive, and not only productive, but not just okay, but glorious. And so I went on a personal crusade exploring every known avenue that I was aware of and then into new ones that I wasn't aware of in order to make my life far better. And what I discovered were some really amazingly powerful principles and practices and methods that anyone could use to change and transform their lives nearly instantly, or instantly. But the point of Mind Design is not so much to instantly transform, although obviously that's part of it, but to learn how to condition yourself for happiness and success, for love and for peace, to be able to have the kind of life that you want. It's just like fitness. You don't get fit overnight. You don't instantly go from being, a couch potato to, Mr. or Miss Olympia. You condition yourself. There are things that you change in terms of the habits that you used to have, and you develop new habits. And so what Mind Design represents is a way of creating new habits in your being that serve you. Because especially when you wire them in, and you master them, they become unconscious, reliable habits. You become unconsciously competent in that, which means it's automatic, it's reliable, and it's available to you without having to think about it. So as a master law of attraction person, you're able to manifest things without having to go through all sorts of permutations and exercise because you've developed yourself to be a master manifester. As a master mind designer, you've developed your mind in such a way that you can be a master law of attractor. You can be a master practitioner of NLP. You can be a master liver of your life. It's that is the point. You design your mind, you design your life. So that, what is it? Getting a little bit more echoey sound than usual on today's record. I do not know what to say about that. Let me try something. Tell me if you hear or don't hear me when I do this. I'm talking now, and I've shut off my speakers. Can you still hear me? If I'm talking and my mouth is moving, Could you hear me when I was speaking? I'm not getting an answer back. So here's the thing. I'm going to continue until I get a message again. The idea is that you transform yourself. You condition yourself to be the kind of person who can easily get what you want. You can easily have what you want. You can make happen the kind of life that you want, whether it's more money, better relationships, lose weight or gain weight, or improve yourself. It's better now. All right, I'm going to assume that it's better. So here is the thing. I turn the speakers back on, just so you know. All right, this all has to be now edited out, all the little technical stuff, and we will or we won't edit it, just so you know. All right. But if it's better now, we're going to go with that. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, there's always a little bit of technical difficulty, so that's cool. So here's let's jump into it. First off, last time that we did a bonus Q&A session, what talked about essentially was part of letting go and surrender. And here's the thing about that. And in the surrender program, you'll learn more about this. But the idea of being a master mind designer, a master attractor, master creator, is that you let go of the outcome. Doesn't mean you don't have an outcome, but you let go of the outcome. I'll explain. A lot of people say, I want to have more money, as an example. And then they try and figure out how to do that. And they go, well, I want it in my business, and I want a certain amount of money, and I want it to, I need it by Friday, and all these sorts of constraints that they put on the outcome of having more money. And they try and work it. They try and figure it out. They try and eliminate things. They fret about it. They gets to be Thursday and they don't have the money yet. Now they're going, I don't know if I'm ever going to get this money. And they scramble and they increase their stress. And Friday comes and they either get the money and then they're happy and relieved and everything else, or they don't get the money and then they're like, well, screw that. That sucks. Everything I did didn't work. And the point is that nothing you do really ever works. And this sounds funny because we talk about neurolinguistic programming and change and personal change technology and mind design and the law of attraction. But none of it really truly works in the sense that you plant a seed, the seed grows on its own. You don't do the seed growing, and you don't determine how and when and where and what needs to be there for the seed to grow. You have to trust that the seed knows how to grow on its own. Yes, you might nurture it. You might add some water or some fertilizer, or you might put some artificial light if there's not sun. But you don't grow the seed. The universe grows the seed. God grows the seed. Nature grows the seed. The seed grows the seed, but you don't grow the seed. You plant the seed, and then you're done. And this is the hardest part for most people, is that they feel, because of our conditioning, that there's always something else they need to do, that they may not have done enough. If they do something else or read another book or try another approach or get another job or do another thing or get the right person or whatever, somehow it'll all be better. And what those are impediments to getting what you want, because you plant the seed and you sit back and let nature take its course. You wait on it. Now, how you wait determines how much you enjoy. If during the season of growing you go, God, I hope I get a harvest. I hope I get a harvest. What if I don't get a harvest? If I don't get a harvest, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh my God, I need to. I better plant more seeds. I better do more things. I better have a fallback plan. I better have. Then that waiting time is going to suck. and you're not going to be enjoying yourself. You're going to be fretting. If, on the other hand, you sit back and you go, that's so cool, I planted the seeds, now I'm going to go out and have some fun, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to live life, and when the seed breaks through and it's ready for harvest, I'll be there to do it. Then you also enjoy the time being in between. And too many of us, when we're working on ourselves, make the work on ourselves so important. We need this now. We don't even know that we need it now. We need it yesterday. And so we get in our own way from making it happen, or of making it happen. We interrupt the process over and over again by trying and doing and thinking and something else. And what it really means is let go and let God. Trust. There's a beautiful thing in Alcoholics Anonymous. This is, you need to find your higher power, whatever you understand that to be. Some people, it's a Christian God, some it's a Buddhist God, some it's a Hindu God, some it's source, some it's an atheist. There is no higher power itself. Sometimes it's the group of people around them. It's the group who's the higher power that helps pull people along. It's whatever your understanding is, but you need to say, I am powerless, so that you can give it over to a higher power. Now, a lot of us in neurolinguistic programming used to say, stupid, you don't want to be powerless, you want to be powerful, so that you can take charge, so that you can win, that you have the confidence that you can handle this. But there's a beauty in the concept of being powerless. It doesn't mean helpless. It means that you recognize your place in everything. You are not the one who grows the seed. You are powerless to grow the seed. In the same way the alcoholic says, I am powerless over this addiction. I need a higher source. I need the universe. I need God. I need something to assist me in this. And so we need something that grows the seed, and that's nature or God or the universe or the sun or the water or the elements or whatever that may be. And so you let go and you let God. You rely on a higher power. So it's you first acknowledge that you're powerless. Second, you discover that there is a higher power, and you place your faith in the higher power. You commit yourself to inviting the higher power into your life to work your life for you, and you get out of the way. That's where thy will be done comes in. It's not your will, it's thy will. That's the message, like Jesus on the cross. Not my will, it's thy will. Forgive these people. They don't know what they've done. And into your hands I commend my spirit. It's I give myself over. So in the same way we give ourselves over to the transformation process, we give ourselves over to the higher parts and elements of ourself in the universe of infinite intelligence to continue the process that we plant, and we get out of the way so that we aren't interfering with the process. Because it's kind of like if I offer you something and I go, well, I want it back. Well, no, you can have it. I want it back. And no, go ahead, take it. No, I want it for me. This kind of thing, we will be in that struggle forever. And that's so much of what we do when we come to personal change. We're so busy trying to manage our change that we don't change. In the Bible, in Genesis, it says that God created the heavens and the earth, and he created the fruits and the vegetables, and he created the plants, animals, and he created the humans. And he said everything reproduces after its kind. So carrots produce carrots, tigers produce tigers, humans produce men and women, of the species. Carrots don't produce potatoes, tigers don't produce humans. We produce after our own kind. So the thoughts that we have, the energy that we have, the attention that we have reproduces after its kind. So what is it? What is your attention? Where is your attention? What is it that you're focused on? What are you creating? Are you creating interruption? Are you creating delay? Are you creating micromanagement? Or are you creating an ease and a flow? Are you giving yourself over to your own unconscious, your subconscious, to infinite intelligence, to a higher source, to your higher power, to God, whatever it might be? Are you allowing and being receptive and allowing it to come to you Now think about this, Jesus, and I just love using Bible stories. It's not because one is better than the other, but they're great stories and they're great examples. Jesus says that they came to him and they said, we've got some bread and we've got some fish, and the people, there's not enough to go around. And so Jesus said, okay, don't worry about it. Boom, there was more bread and more fish. It produced after its own kind. The bread became more bread and the fish became more fish. Didn't say they suddenly had cheese and steak. They had more bread and they had more fish. There's the story of a woman who didn't have enough oil in her lamps, and they said, God worked this miracle, and suddenly there was more oil in the lamps. She didn't have something different. She got more of what she had in her lamp or in her pot. She got more oil, not gold or riches or money or anything else. She got oil. And, this is the point. Whatever energy, whatever talent, whatever your attention, your focus, your skills, your ability, whatever your mindset is, if you want to get more back of those, you have to do something. You have to put them to work. You have to put them out there. No energy ever expands in the universe until it's first released. No seed is ever multiplied until it's planted. No muscle is ever really strong until it's exercised. So the exercise, the planting that we want to learn to do, especially in mind design, is how to focus on what it is we want, plant the seed for what we want. I want to be better at math. I want to be more happy in my life. I want to be a juggler. I want to be rich and wealthy. I want to have the best life ever. I want to have a decent relationship with somebody who's nice to me and I'm nice to them, and I want to love and have it grow. You plant the seed and then you get out of the way. Now, I've used the analogy numerous times that if you're in a river, on a raft, and you're going with the flow, you're not impeding the flow. You're just going with the current. You're allowing the current to take you. You trust where, the water to take you where it's going. But you can steer, by where you put your oar or your hand to one side or the other. So you're not helpless. You are not helpless in any way, shape, or form. But you're also not trying to paddle faster than the river is going. You're not trying to determine where the river goes or where so much of the raft goes or what the ride is about or anything. You're allowing it. And when you allow it and you're relaxed, then you can see all the wonderful sights along the way. You have the luxury to enjoy the experience. And most people don't enjoy the experience because they're too busy striving, too busy trying to manipulate themselves, their mind, their behaviors, others. They're trying to control the situation. They're trying to control circumstances. They're wishing that things weren't the way they were. They're hoping that things change in a certain time frame. They want it a different way. And what I'm here to tell you is it is what it is. And when you stop trying to manipulate it and you recognize it as an incredible opportunity, and that every moment, anywhere at all, is a blessing. When you recognize it, all of the toughest times in your life are there to serve you, to help you learn something, especially if you have things repeat over and over again. Certain themes in your life, certain problems in your life. If you keep, going out with the same girl or same guy over and over again, there's a reason for that. It's not for you to go out with the next person just like that. You're to learn from it Why would this type of person keep showing up? If you always have no money at the end of the month and you go through this, or you make money and you lose money, or you're dealing with some form of physical anomaly or some issue that's going on with you and you're not getting the results that you want, when there are repeated themes, examine, stop, and go, what is the lesson in this? What am I supposed to learn? What do I know? What can I, and you may not get it correct, okay? But you got to stop and you got to explore and be willing to analyze and look at what is going on and what it might be. Because the only way to get free of that cycle is to learn the lesson you're supposed to learn. And this is why I say, the frame of mind that you have is always a useful thing. I assume that I am source, whether this is true or not. I assume, in other words, I'm God of some sort, not the God, but God. And I'm a creator. And I'm creating all these circumstances, good, bad, right or wrong, happy, sad, for me to become aware of who I am and what I'm capable of, that I was born to be, but conditioned out of, so that I could not see it. There were filters put in front of me, limiting beliefs that I adopted for whatever reason. And now the journey is to take the filters away, overcome the limiting beliefs and the obstacles to discover who I am and who you are born to be, who is inside you, waiting to get out. And I say it's God waiting to get out, whether you want to call it God or not. That's just the word I choose. Don't get hung up on that. And see, that's the thing with many people. They go, I don't know that I could believe that. I don't know that I can do that. It's a reframe. But here's the key. In order to adopt a new belief, you have to expose yourself to it a number of times. And this is why they say a lie repeated often enough becomes substituted as the truth. So the reason why we affirm or ask directed questions is to direct our mind. Why Emile Coué said, every day and every way I'm getting better and better, that affirmation, every day and every way I'm getting better and better, was a way for people to repeat this over and over and over again until they came to believe it. Now, the only way to make that truly, truly work is to say it with real enthusiasm and real commitment that every day and every way I'm getting better and better, and then to begin to look and recognize the ways in which you are getting better and better, so that one day you turn around and you look back and you go, my God, I have come such a far way, I didn't even notice it. Because we're so busy enjoying the journey, I didn't notice how far along the way we've gotten. So, the key to getting out of your own way is to not make things problems for yourself, to not declare a problem, not say, I'm struggling with this issue, I have a problem with this, nobody ever listens to me, my wife is this way, my husband is that way, I don't have enough money, I don't know how to do this, I don't know, because then you're not declaring what it is you want, you're not planting the seeds that you want to have, you're keeping the old stuff alive, where your attention goes, energy flows, it reproduces after its kind. So if you say, I never have enough, you will never have enough. If you say, I suck at this, you will suck at this. You will always have whatever you declare. That is why I say speak to bless, heal, prosper, motivate, and inspire. Speak to create what you want to create and nothing else. Tell a different story. As you mind designers in your pods, in your daily life, affirm what it is you want to create. Sow the seed. I said the last time and many times, it's not about denying. It's saying I have a situation going in life that many people might see as challenging, or many people might be, confused by, or many people might really totally dislike. But I'm learning to exercise my options. I'm learning to develop my beliefs about myself and my behaviors. I'm discovering opportunities that I didn't know existed. I am learning how to overcome areas and hurdles that previously I might not have been able to. I am working and playing at having much, much more fun. And I'm finding that everything always works out for the best. You see, you don't know what you don't know. See, with most people, all they see is what's on the radar screen, what's on their phone. People walk around like this, and they're so focused on what's on their phone that they miss everything around them. People walk into walls, they bump into people, they get hit by cars. There's an entire world out there beyond this, okay? So my point is, if you're so focused on your problem, if you're so focused on your issue, if you're so focused on what you don't have, if you're so focused on not having it yet, if you're so focused on, I'm not getting it, I don't know what to do, I'm confused, if you're so focused, it reproduces after its kind and you miss everything else that's there. And what you need to do is say, you know what? I used to have a problem with letting go, but now I let go and I let God. I trust. I used to have a problem making money, but now I can make money easily, and I wonder how soon I'll begin to discover how absolutely, truly rich and abundantly I live. And you begin to focus on that and let those things reproduce after their kind. Let your talents reproduce after their kind. Let your positivity reproduce after its kind. Let your power reproduce after its kind. Let your love, your friends, your friendliness, your family, your situations that you want more of reproduce after their kind. And the only way that you create them is to invest in them first. You don't get a plant if you don't plant the seed. You don't sit here and wait and go, money come to me, money come to me, money come to me, because money will always be away from you. You have to be able to say, I'm rich and I'm abundant. And to focus on that in spite of the fact that around you may be poverty, lack, and doubt. Because it's not about focusing on the poverty, lack, and see, none of it's real when you think about it. The circumstances aren't any more real than what's going on in here. We have put our attention. We think that that's real. We say, oh yeah, well, inside is your fantasy and your imagination and your self-deception and all this, but the real world is this hard, cruel thing that's out there, and that's what's true. And so, there's poverty, there's lack, there's cruelty, there's war, there's this, that, there's other things. But you know what? It all exists in here. To the truly enlightened, none of that matters. It doesn't matter. But it matters in this sense. If you focus on all of that, if you're distracted by things in here, whether that's social media or bad news or your own limiting beliefs, because this is your version of the world. It's like all you see, my limits, my restrictions, my conditioning, my childhood, my negative experiences, some of my positive experiences, all right there. This self-history is as much a fiction as anything else. And the outside is a fiction. It is an illusion. Hindus call it Maya. It's an illusion. And we've substituted the illusion for reality. Now, I know you may be sitting there thinking, well, that's all fine and well, but, I have a job and my boss is an ass and I can't stand it. I'm not making enough money. I have to change my circumstances. Yes, I understand that. But if you're focused on your boss being an ass and you're not making enough money, that's keeping your boss an ass and you're keeping you not making enough money. Because you're putting your energy into that situation instead of saying, I have enough money and I work with people who I love. You have to focus on what you want in spite of what's going on in your world around you. You have to look to what you want, not to what is. You have to be willing and available to dream in spite of opposition. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Because it may not. It may not, because what happens when you think about it, then you say, well, yeah, maybe so. And all the limiting beliefs and all the conditioning and everything comes up. And this is the filters that are in front of your eyes that prevent you from seeing who you truly are and what is amazingly simple and possible for you to create and have more of. That's why Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, You are absolutely correct. It's also why I say, and it's not my version, but the more you do, the more you can do. Or drop by drop, the tub gets filled. See, when you practice these principles, you have the opportunity to master these principles. And when you master these principles, therein comes the transformation. If you dabble, you won't master. But you'll only do it when you're ready to do it. Does that make sense? You won't do it until you decide to do it. So it's completely in your hands. Just like if you don't throw the seeds onto the ground, the seeds won't get planted. And if you harbor the seeds, if you hang on to the seeds thinking you're going to get more because you're holding on to the seeds, you won't. You have to give it away. You have to plant it. You have to invest it. You have to do something to make it happen. You have to put your faith out there and then by their fruits, you will know them. Once you plant, then that will grow. You have to put your energy out there and then you will get it back. So the key is to seek guidance from your own inner self. Jesus said, in fact, the Vedas said when two are gathered, there is power. Jesus said when two or more are gathered, I am in the midst of them. And what this means to me is that when your head and your heart are aligned with your goal or your outcome, when you're congruent inside and outside, when you know what you want and you feel good about it and you're focused on it in spite of anything that goes on, you know that you're going to do this, you're certain to it because you believe in your dream, then that's when you make things happen. That's where the law of attraction comes in. And it's not law of attraction, it's actually law of creation. But the point is that you have to do the thing, as Emerson said, and you will have the power. You do the thing and you have the power. You plant the seed and you get the crop. You must plant the seed before you can even hope to get the crop. You must give before you get. You have to put the action into it. You have to think the thoughts that make it happen. You have to feel the feelings that make it happen. You have to behave in the right way in order to get the results that you want. But where it starts is in your mind with the notion that, one, you can do it, two, you can plant it, and when you plant it, you then give up. You allow, you release, you let go. You don't dig up the seed every couple of seconds and then check on it, see how far it's coming, because to do that would be to kill the seed. So Napoleon Hill said there's no such thing, I think, as a free lunch. He said everything has a price. And in order for you to make the change, have the change, get your riches, you have to pay the price. It's impossible to get anything without paying the price. You don't go into a supermarket and say, I'm going to take this food and I'll get back to you with the money. You have to pay the money when you take the food. There's an exchange. So if you really want to change and transform, you have to do something, but you have to do it first. This is why the principle of go first is very important inside of Mind Design. You do it and you get the results. You think it. So when you put your power to work, you get power back. When you smile at somebody, you have the opportunity to get more smiles back. If you frown at somebody, you're more apt to get frowns back. If you're driving along and give someone the finger, you're more likely to get the finger back. Do you get it? So if what you want to do is to always make sure that when you sow what you want to be sowing, or so that you reap what you want to reap. There's another Bible statement that says, except a kernel of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it beareth much fruit. Except a kernel of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. Meaning, if you hang on to the seed and you don't plant it, it does nothing. But if it dies, if it breaks open, if it cracks open underground, if it does, the seed dies and the life comes out of it, the shell breaks, it can bear much fruit. Now, many years ago, it may have been, I don't know if it was Robert Collier or whom, but the notion of the pump, you have to prime the pump. Well, I mean, Zig Ziglar popularized this and often is credited with the concept, but prior to him, I think it was Collier, and I don't know if somebody before Collier had mentioned it. But in order to draw water from a well, you have to pour some water in there, and you have to pump and pump and pump and pump. It operates in the same way as siphoning gas out of your tank. You have to create a vacuum. You have to suck the air out. And then once you create that vacuum, then what happens is the water that's contained or the gas that's contained in the tank can go up the hose and flow out. And if you have a large body of water, that it would flow and flow and flow and flow and flow and flow and flow until you stop. The same thing with the pump. But in order to get that flow, in order to get the water out of the pump, you have to do something first. You have to do something first. A lot of people say, I tried things and I did things and it didn't work and I didn't do that and it didn't happen, and they give up. And then they blame whatever they tried. They go, well, I tried the law of attraction, or I tried NLP, or I tried, DBT, or I tried, positive thinking, or I tried, mind machines, or I tried. None of it works. It's not those things that work. It's you that makes it work. So you must give yourself room. You must give yourself permission. You must allow yourself to do and to continue to do until you accept the kernel of wheat, fall into the ground and die. There is no growth. Until you give up not getting, you will keep not getting, because it will reproduce after its kind. So a lot of people have all the reasons why they're broken, all the reasons why they're stuck, all the reasons why they're in poverty, all the reasons why they don't have a lover, all the reasons why they're skinny or why they're fat, or what. They have all the reasons, all the excuses, and this is the story that they live from. So they live from an impoverished mindset. They live from their limiting, previously conditioned belief set. They don't allow themselves to drop the filters, to let them go. And truly, what I'm getting at in roundabout ways is it is the letting go of your issues where you'll find your release. Well, how do you do that? Well, there's the notion that you can sit with a feeling. So something comes up and it bothers you. What a lot of people do is they get a negative feeling and they want to run from the feeling. Their thoughts start going because the brain, monkey mind, starts going every which way. And it judges and it says that sucks and they're wrong and I'm wrong and I shouldn't feel this way and it shouldn't be that way and everything else, and all this stuff is going on. And one of the reasons why it behooves you to meditate, it behooves you to do the candle exercise, it behooves you to laugh more, it behooves you to let go, it behooves you to and to enjoy life more, is to understand that this monkey mind is not you. It's just chatter, like chatter up in the trees while you're walking down below. It's going on incessantly. But you are separate from that, except for the fact that you think that it's you. I think that it's me. We believe that these thoughts that we're having are us, that there are reality, when they are only a story, a conditioned story, filters that have been put in place as we grew up through trading other people's experiences, our own experiences, from peers and family and everything. And we have these versions that we think are the truth, and we think that the truth is out there and that that's real. And that the story that we tell ourselves that's negative and less than glorious and keeping us broken and impoverished and suffering and not able to do what we want to do and not getting ahead, that's somehow true, that's somehow accurate, that's somehow real, when in fact it is as much as it is just another lie. And if you were to have believed something else instead, you would be a different person. And that is my point. Stop believing the story. How do you do that? Well, like I said, the feeling comes up and you don't like the feeling and the mind starts growing. This is when you want to be able to sit with the feeling and watch the mind without judgment. Just watch it. How do you do that? Well, there's no way to tell you how to do that. I can tell you what to do. I can't tell you how you find the knack for doing this other than to say, when you feel something, try, attempt, do, let go of judgment. Attempt not to label it, not say this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. Just sit with it, and it may be uncomfortable, and you may have to do this 100 times before you get it right, or 1,000 times. But you see, in the old days, sometimes, an apprentice or a disciple of a master spent years studying the basics before they were even deemed ready for the next step. They might do one thing in terms of master craftsman. Somebody might be planing a piece of wood for decades, for years before the master comes along and goes, no, yes, that's correct. We've lost that in our culture. The ability to stick with things where there appears to be no reward. In the Napoleon Hill story of Edward C. Barnes, he wanted to work with Edison, and Edison, so he hopped on a train as a hobo. He went to see Edison. He got an audience with Edison, who looked at him dressed like a bum. So, but there was a fire in his eye. There was something about him. So I gave him a job. I said, you can sweep up around the lab. And so Barnes sat. He said, great. But in his mind, according to Napoleon Hill, he saw himself in partnership with Edison. Even though for 5 years, all he did was sweep and clean up. This was his apprenticeship. In his head, according to Napoleon Hill, he saw himself in partnership no matter what. Even if he was sweeping, he knew he was going to be a partner. And then one day, Edison was unveiling a new dictaphone or dictation machine, and they were having trouble selling it, and the salespeople didn't like to sell it. And Barnes said, I'll sell it. Edison said, okay, I'll give you a shot. And he sold it, and Edison made him a partner. At some point, he became a multimillionaire. But for 5 years, it didn't appear that he was ever any kind of partner of Edison, but that's what he maintained in his mind. Even while he continued to sweep and do his menial task of cleaning up for Edison. Form of apprenticeship, master-disciple relationship is whether there's an outer teacher or an inner teacher, whether it's you, the point is let go of wanting it to be different and sit with it. Let go of the judgment. Let go of the bouncing back and forth. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that, it's that, it's this, it's this, it's that, blah, 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 that goes on. Stop the chatter. Sit with the feeling. Try it for 15 or 20 minutes. A half hour. And if it's a less than glorious feeling, then after 15, 20, 30 minutes, then shift it. But sit with it, let go. If you can sit and let go and let it be without judgment, or you can sit, let go, be without judgment, and then choose something positive. You shift back to something glorious. And this is the point. Be willing to sit and accept who you are and find the good in who you are. Find the joyous in who you are. Find all the wonderful talents in who you are. Stop labeling and saying you're not enough, or if only this would change, or if you had to do all these different kinds of things. Stop making change a problem and start inviting change. Invite change, invite God, invite the universe into your life. Say, thy will be done. I invite you into my relationships. I invite you to take over my wealth and finances. I have 5 F's for you: family, friends, finances, fitness. I forgot the last one. And fame. Fame. Because that's what most people want. Family, friends, finances, fitness, and fame. Areas of your life that you can improve. I invite you into my family. I want to have wonderful, glorious, incredible relationships with the people I love. My friends. I'd like to have a wonderful social calendar with really cool, positive people who I discover, and we uplift each other. I invite you into my finances and my wealth. I invite good things and know that good things are going to happen. I let go. I let God bring me. I let the universe bring me. I let nature bring me all sorts of good things. My health, my fitness, work in me, heal me. The body, think about it. The body knows how to heal itself. You cut your finger, it knows how to heal itself. It has a wisdom. How many times do we get sick and then tell everybody how sick we are? I got a cold. I feel horrible. You go on Facebook. I feel this. I feel that. I'm having this. I have that. We hear about all the complaints. That is keeping it alive. It reproduces after its kind. It reproduces after its kind. It reproduces after its kind. Do you get it? Whatever you say or declare or think or believe, it reproduces after its kind. If it's a limitation, then you reproduce limitations. This is why I say let go. You have an inner wisdom, a higher self. Your subconscious, your unconscious, your mind, which some claim exists outside the body, that there's infinite intelligence, that there's you and there's this and there's that. And it's all an illusion anyway. It's all Maya. We're all energy. We're vibrations. So vibe high. Vibe well. Vibe as high as you can. Get fun. Laugh. Breathe. Let go. Get a massage. Skip. Dance. Enjoy yourself. The world is far too short in terms of a single lifetime to spend it struggling. So stop. And think of this. As you climb up a ladder, you have to let go of every rung and reach for the next one. And let go and reach for the next one, and let go and reach for the next one, and let go and reach for the next one. You have to, letting go and reaching is part of the process. Standing is harder than moving. So if you're not moving forward, if you're not growing, you're dying, they say. So you want to be moving forward. You want to be investing in yourself. You want to be planting the seeds. You want to be doing those things that are good, but you then let go of the results. It doesn't mean that you then don't care about the results. It's that you let them come to you in whatever form they come to you. There's some people who want it so much in one way that they miss all the other ways that they might be able to get it. Same thing with love. Same thing with health. If you think of yourself as a deity, and I don't mean God in terms of an egotistical sense that you're better than anybody else, because we're all in it together. We're all sorts. We're all interconnected. Then realize that the God in you wants to express itself, himself, herself, wants to come out in everything you do. And what we do is we suppress it, repress it, we keep it down, we fight it, we go, no, 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 because this is the real world, this is what's true, this is what's screwed, this is what's bad, those people are wrong, blah, 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 I was told this, I think that. It's all conditioning. It's all filters. It's all missing the point. You have this incredible, resourceful person inside you, this mind, this infinite being. You are connected with Source. We are all stardust. We have available to us everything that ever existed and will exist. All exists right now in this single moment of time. This is who and you are. And what you do and what we do is live way below our means. You are the fountainhead of your own supply. You are the power of everything. Now, Jesus said, the Bible says, given it should be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give unto you your bosom, for that which is the same, for with the same measure that you meet with all, it shall be measured to you again. I think I got all that right. The point being is you give of yourself, and you get back more than you could ever imagine. You plant one seed, you get back an apple tree with hundreds of apples, thousands of apples that could grow other apple trees. Whatever you plant, you can get back more. But everything increases after its kind. If you plant apples, you will get apples. If you plant negative thoughts, you're going to get negative thoughts. If you plant negative feelings, you're going to get negative feelings. So if you're sitting here going, well, that's all fine and well, Rex, but you don't understand. I have this issue. I have this problem. You will get more of that. You will get more of that. So it requires that you suspend your beliefs about your inability to change easily and rapidly and instantly. It means you suspend your beliefs about the time frame. You suspend your beliefs about what's right and what's wrong, in the sense that you give up and let go of trying to micromanage your results. What do you do about deadlines? What happens if a deadline is missed? Think about that for a second. You think the world's over, maybe. And it could seem that way. Maybe on the other hand, if the deadline is missed, opportunities open up that you would never have other known. If everything goes haywire and crazy and goes to hell, and we don't like it, we don't want it, but you know what? Pretend for a second that God, as the saying goes, never tests you beyond what you're capable of, that everything thrown at you, every trying circumstances, every devastating thing that happened in your life, every abuse, every name that you were called, every horrible act that ever happened to you, every dollar you lost, every whatever, was all designed to make you find out your inner resourcefulness, your inner good, your inner God, your inner power, your inner energy. Do you understand that it's whatever you decide it to be, that it will be? You say, well, wait a second, I don't agree with it. Exactly right. See, right there, where you'll come up against a belief. This is why you need to be able to stop, sit with things, examine things, allow things, evaluate things, and go, well, what if it would to be different? What if I didn't believe this? How might it be different? That's the point of directed questions. Instead of saying something is, you approach it from, and we'll get into more directed questions later, but you approach it from different angles. I wonder how many different ways I could find myself feeling wonderful. Is giving up. It's not saying you're not feeling wonderful. There's still a destination feeling wonderful, but it's how many ways can I find? How can I discover? How quickly and easily can I discover the many different ways I feel wonderful inside and outside, in ways that contribute to myself and to others, and meaningful, and ways that go beyond anything I could imagine, and create for me an incredible future. None of it is specified. None of it's determined. It has to be happened by this day or that day. There's another Bible phrase that he that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed. So think about that. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed. If you can see the good, if you can see the bounty, if you can see the blessings, you will be blessed, because it's all part of the cycle. So you create the vacuum. You create the flow. You do it by changing, and you might change one tiny thing and open up an incredible. I used to say, and I still do it, that water, under pressure in a small tube, creates the power to be able to, you can use water to cut through steel. A diamond is created under pressure, right? A tiny window can open up into something truly immense, like a little hole in a dam, can bring the whole dam down. So you create an opening in yourself in which you allow things to release and come forth. You allow your inner being to radiate out. You experience all of the world as a blessing, all of circumstance as a blessing. These trials and tribulation, I have an experience going on right now that many people would consider, trying or confusing, but I'm experiencing the blessing of finding out that I always land on my feet. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't have the slightest clue how it's going to work out. I don't know that it's going to work out for the best, that ultimately it will be good. So let's celebrate. If somebody comes to you and says, we have a problem, you go, there is no problem. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. It's an opportunity to learn and to grow, because we wouldn't be tested if we weren't capable of going beyond it. I always have said, that what I love about like Game of Thrones and things like that is that the gladiator notion, bring me your champion and he shall be defeated. Even like Goliath, bring me your, champion soldier. What, bring me this puny little boy. I will eat you, I will grind your bones. And David goes, God's going to be victorious today. Through faith. Doesn't matter how. You don't have to be big in order to succeed. You just have to create a small opening where you can go with the flow and you can let God. And remember, it reproduces itself after its own kind. There's plenty. You will find plenty if you think there is plenty. If you think there's not enough or you think you can't, that's what you'll find. It will reproduce after its own kind. So when you're troubled, stop. Let it go. Create space. Let the mind go. Let the talk go. Don't judge. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge the situation. Don't judge the feeling. Stop labeling. Suspend the judgment. Release your reasons and your rules. Let it all go. And sit with it. Be with it. The feeling is a signal. Tells you that maybe your thinking is wrong or something is going on or something and it needs to change, but just sit with it for a second, 30 minutes maybe. Because what you want to discover is that you're not ruled by that either. You're beyond that. You only think you are because that's how you grew up. I mean, think about all the ways you were conditioned and or the way psychology conditions now. Our feelings are valid, our feelings are real. We have to get in touch with our feelings. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a practical experience, but at the same time, it's not applied necessarily in the most prudent way, or not applied in a way that serves people well. Sometimes it serves to coddle and to keep people broken. If you have bad feelings about the past, okay, recognize that and know it, and know that the feelings that you have about the past mean you're thinking something about the past. You're judging something. You're keeping something alive. You're reliving it over and over and over again. So understand that. Sit with it. Understand that you can be free of it. Feeling can just be the feeling without any judgment. You may have to do this numerous times to the point where you get to where you're feeling. Remember, if you want to be able to master something, you have to practice it repeatedly, correctly, enough times until you master it, until it becomes an automatic habit. So you sit with it and you let it go. And then you realize that all the thinking and all the thoughts and everything is the thing that is keeping you wedded to a problem in the past. Or the other possibility is you're anxious about the future, fearing something that's going to happen that may never happen, that you don't know will happen because it's not, you just think it's going to happen. Somebody was once said that most of the things we fear never, ever, ever come to pass. 80% or more never come to pass. It's true, but we fear that. We go, I want to go talk to that person over there. I find them nice and attractive. I like to say hi, but they might reject me. We're afraid to do that. I'm not saying go over and do it, be a pest. I'm saying, but the fear is what stops us. And you might go over there and they can say, get lost, I'm out of here. And then if that's the case, so what? I don't want to be with that person anyway. They were rude. I mean, why would I want to be with them? They were mean. They were nasty. Why would I want to be with that person? What did I learn from that experience? I learned that I can act and that the person can treat me nastily and I can still act. I didn't die. I'm still here. I'm alive. And if you feel like you're crushed and you're going to wither, well, then learn that you didn't and you don't have to. You're entitled. And guess what? Maybe that person is, if you believe what I say about this is all source, then that person is there to teach you. That lesson is what you needed in that moment. That is a blessing. Thank God that person treated you. Thank God the person gave you the finger on the highway. So you could get all freaked out. So you could learn that, you know what? That's a symbol. Why do you buy into it? That's an anchor in NLP. Why do you buy into it? Why do you let that ruin your day? And then why do you go home 6 hours later and say, you know what, this person on the freeway, give me the finger, and I'm so mad I could barely stick up, and you generate this entire story around it. And you don't have to. Let it go. Give God a chance. Give the lesson a chance. Give your inner being a chance. Turn on your own power. Realize that, like when water is boiling in that tea kettle we talked about the last time, that steam, that pressure that's building up is all designed, that's activity, that's motion, that's the inner stuff that's going on, that you can create a release. I don't mean vent and blow off steam and do that. I don't mean it in that regard. I'm saying that all that turmoil, all that extra energy is bubbling up. It's creating pressure. But it's creating pressure designed to get you to look at it. That's that alert signal. That's for you to look at and notice. And something could be changed. And when you change it, you can transform. You'd be driving on the road and stuck in traffic and you're mad because you're not moving at the rate and the speed that you got to be somewhere in time. And guess what you're doing? You're trying to control the driving experience of others. You're trying to say, it shouldn't be this way. It should be other way. I have to be there. This is what I have to. And all that steam and all that pressure is building up inside. You're trying to manipulate. You're trying to control. You're trying to wish it were otherwise instead of just stopping and going, you know what? This is what is. This is a blessing. What do I learn from this? I learned that maybe I need to get up and go earlier so that I get there on time. I need to learn that I'm responsible for being late, not the traffic. I didn't get up on time. I need to learn that, in spite of everything that's going on, I can find a quiet place. I don't have to respond how I've always responded. I don't have to have the monkey mind go off and tell me I don't have to be giving the finger to everybody. I can enjoy this. Because this is a blessing. There's an opportunity right here in this situation that is designed just for me. Whether it is or not, who cares? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get it inside? If you put fear and worry and anger and hostility out there, then we will get back. They will reproduce after their kind. If you put fear and worry into your finances, you will get fear and worry. If you put debt and lack into your finances, you will get that back. If you put love and peace and joy into your finances, you'll get that back. If you put abundance into your finances, you will get that back. If you put love and joy and peace and delight into your relationships, you will get that back. Whatever you put in, it will reproduce after its own kind. When you plant the seed and you harvest, you get back a bountiful harvest, and you will increase it hundreds of fold. Just remember that the hardest part of any of this is to do it, is to begin it, is to practice it. So do it in tiny little bits and increments. That's what mind design is all about. Make it fun, not hard. If you don't do an exercise, don't beat yourself up. Find a way to do it at another time. Pat yourself on the back and go, good, I did what I did. You can always give something. You can always give something. So give delight, give enjoyment, give peace, give recognition, give acknowledgement, give confidence, give peace to yourself and to others. All you have to do is plant the seed. All you have to do is a little bit to get a lot back. But you got to give a little bit. And then you got to get out of the way. You know, I don't know if I mentioned it last time. It's kind of like you can give somebody a gift. Like I give somebody money, and then I can determine how they have to spend that money. Or I can give them a gift and go, you know what? It's no longer mine. It's yours. Do with it what you will. You let go. You don't obligate. You release. Just like climbing a ladder. You have to let go and reach. So whatever you want to create, in spite of what's going on around you, you believe that you can have it. Just like Edward C. Barnes, you know that this future is yours, and you keep your focus on the future that you want, in spite of the distractions, in spite of what could distract you. But expand your awareness to realize that all this stuff out here is good stuff that you'll miss if you're too focused on what you might miss. Did that make sense? Did that go in? You'll miss if you're worried about missing. See, it reproduces after its kind. Seek peace, create peace, give peace, and you'll get peace. Give value, and you will get value. Give love, and you will get love. Give yourself the opportunity to grow and evolve, and for it to be easy and fun and delightful, to laugh more, to smile more, to have great friendships, to create an incredible, sumptuous, wonderful life, to have good health, to have riches and abundance into your life. Give that, and you will reproduce after your kind. Believe that you have, and you will receive that which you've asked for. Jesus, I think, again, it says, whatsoever things you ask for when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. Ask and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and you shall find. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened unto you. Again, I just choose the Bible because it's easy. But it's great. It is truly wonderful that we have that, because it's an illustration of what you can do when you put your mind to it. So design your mind, design your life. See, this is what it's about. Become the architect, create the blueprint. What is it that you want? And focus on it, and focus on it repeatedly. Remember? This is, again, why you concentrate, why we do the flame or the candle, focusing on your breath, so that you can concentrate on what you want, regardless of what's going on around you. When you are focused on the candle, what happens is you notice your mind goes off this way and that way and everything, and you bring your attention back. 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 Okay, same thing with your breath, same thing with meditation. You bring it back, all right? So you focus on what you want, in spite of the distractions, in spite of the chatter of the monkey mind, in spite of what's going on in circumstances. You bring it back, and you believe that you have it, and you act as if, again, this is going into law of attraction, part of the program there, but it's the same thing is true in mind design. And you focus on what you want, and you create what you want in spite of what's going on. And when you convince yourself that you deserve it, and that it's yours, and that you already have it, and you act as if you do, in spite of everything else, you bring it into being. You bring it into being, and you do it by continually doing it. This is why every way and every day and every way I'm getting better and better. You do it. You convince yourself by the conviction. You do it night and day. Every night before you go to bed, as you visualize yourself living the life of your dream, being the person who you want to be, having designed your life and designed your mind, and seeing yourself as the kind of person. If you go, I'm the kind of person who has trouble getting up in the morning, and you see yourself every night getting up easily and effortlessly, and you program yourself for that. You allow that to happen, no matter, even if tomorrow you get up and it's a struggle. After a while, you become convinced that that is true. And when you become convinced that it's true, your subconscious becomes, then is when it happens for you. You see, you're trying to get your own mind to learn the new behaviors that you want. You're consciously choosing the new behaviors to wire in so that you have the life you want. You design it. And why it's called mind design is because you design. You can't have it without doing something. In order to design something, you have to sit, think about it, and put it down on paper or whatever. You design it. You design the kind of mind you want. You design the kind of life you want. I want more laughter. I want more love. I want more fun. All right. So if I want more laughter, I want more fun. What do? You laugh more. You have more fun. You do the things that are fun. You hang out with fun people. You do the things that you enjoy. You go places that you like. You put fun into your life and you get more back. And as you do, that loop is created. That vacuum is created that sucks up all that fun, and it then begins to flow ceaselessly. That's the purpose of affirmations and directed questions, and directing your mind in this way is to bring you into the experience where you accept what it is that you desire as if it's yours. And you keep saying to yourself, I am this, I'm rich, I'm wonderful, I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm confident, I'm peaceful, I am great, I'm famous, I have everything I want. You keep doing that through constant repetition long enough until it's automatic. And the other stuff, the debts and the worries and the lack and the people and the situations, you let them go. And you let go how all of this stuff manifests. You just stay focused on what you want. Barnes didn't know when or what or how he would be the partner of Edison. He only knew that in his mind, he would be Edison's partner. And when the opportunity arose, he was there. It arose and he jumped at the opportunity. And why? Because for 5 years, he'd been concentrating and knowing he would one day have the opportunity to be the partner. And this is what that reticular activating system is all about, is recognizing when there's opportunity around you by creating it. The same way if you go out and buy a red sports car, that you'll see every version of your model of red sports car on the road, because your brain gets tuned to that. So if you say, I'm abundant and I'm rich and I'm fulfilled and I feel fantastic, or I'm confident and I'm strong and I'm powerful and I can learn to do anything, or I can easily play the piano and I can master, any skill that I want because I'm an incredible learner, or I'm such a good father, or I'm such a good mother, I'm a wonderful lover, I'm a great friend, I'm fit and I'm healthy, my body knows how to heal, my brain is marvelous, I have the home of my dreams, I live the life of my thing, I'm a powerful public speaker, whatever it is. When your faith has gone strong and you claim that thing that you want and you act as if you have it, you got it. Your heart, your head, and your goal are aligned. And you begin to experience life in new, powerful, wonderful ways. That's why you can write down your affirmations, write down what you're grateful for. All of the things I've said in these modules or in these sessions of mind design and in Tesla and in the law of attraction and the other programs that we'll be talking about, it all works together. And you will find no resistance when you allow. What you resist persists. When you allow, when you go, let God's way, the universe's way, nature's way, my other than conscious way, infinite intelligence way, whatever you want to call it, when you let go and let God, there is no resistance. So stop trying to overcome the problem. Stop trying to manage the situation. Stop trying to fight all of the things that you don't like. Stop trying to nag your behaviors into changing, and bless all of them. Celebrate all of them. Be grateful and thank you. Know that God is in them. You are in them. And if you let them out and you let them be, it'll all work together for your good. Don't expect miracles. Just release and reach. Right? Don't overcome your problems. Not saying don't do anything about your problems. Bless them. serve them, give them up, offer them. Every day in every way, I'm getting richer and richer. I'm feeling better and better. I'm experiencing more abundance. I'm discovering how incredible I am. And I invite you into my life. I invite you into this situation. Your will be done, not my will be done. And you know what? If you pull it back, give it back up. This is the learning process. So don't be hasty and judge yourself wrong for not being perfect. Trying to be perfect, trying to have mastered something before you'd mastered it is another obstacle. So let it go. Be gentle. I did the best I could with what I knew. Okay, didn't work out the way I thought. Good job. You just recognized something. Let go and let God. Design your life by making it the life you want. You get this? It's up to you. I can't do it for you. No one can do it for you, but you can do it. So give yourself permission to do it. Release it, allow it, and allow yourself to be fulfilled. And you will be. Create a small opening, and anything is possible. Go with the flow. Release and let go. Overcome your tendency to overcome your problems by relaxing more, by letting and allowing more, by blessing more. Bless only to speak only to bless, heal, prosper, motivate, and inspire. Tell the story that you want to be told. If you don't know what that is, with not yet, create it and affirm it. Write it down. Create the story, the life that you want. Create the situations and circumstances that you want in spite of what's going on. And ultimately, you will get everything you want. And it may not come to you in any way that you think it would, so give that up. There's a principle in race car driving. Now, I'm not a race car driver. I only know about this from having read about it. I mean, I used to love to race cars and little micros, but I'm not. This is not personal experience. So when they're going around in a circle at very, very high speeds, one of the practice things that they do is have them aim at the wall because they need to know how to avoid a crash. So the car is going, and you, in real life, this is true too, but because it's true. As the car goes to the wall, they tell the driver who's learning to drive to turn and look into the center of the track, not at the wall, because what you look at is where you will go. So if you look at the wall, they say you'll steer yourself into the wall. As much as you try and avoid it, but you're looking at the wall and you drive yourself into it. So you need to look. It's counterintuitive. It's very difficult to do, so they say, because every part of you wants to look at where you're headed. You want to avoid hitting the wall, that kind of thing. They go, look away, and then you'll steer away. It's counterintuitive. But in order to move in the direction that you need to move in, you need to look in that direction. So if you're always looking at your problems, always looking at what you don't have, looking at how you aren't enough, looking at how something's hard or difficult, looking at why you're not making progress as quickly as you'd like to, why you're lonely and nobody likes you and you're going to eat some worms, and all that sort of stuff, is because you're looking at it. Energy goes where your attention goes. It flows there. You steer away from the wall by looking away from the wall. You have to look at what you want, which is what Edward Barnes did. He kept in his mind what he wanted. And then he did whatever he did in the meantime. If every day you do a little bit of something towards your goal, that's fantastic. Keep the faith. How do you believe? By developing the belief. Say, well, I don't know if I can believe that. Then listen to all of my talks over and over and over again and do what I have said that you do. Put it into practice, apply it, and do it repeatedly enough until you do believe it. A lie repeated often enough becomes substituted as the truth. We know that from media, for crying out loud. We know that for years of conditioning. We know that through Orwellian kinds of stuff, that if you continually, people tell themselves lies all the time, and to the fact that they go, I don't know if this is true or not. I've lied to myself for so long, I don't even know what the truth is anymore. You can lie to yourself in a productive way. I am fabulous. I don't feel fabulous. I am fabulous. I don't feel fabulous. I'm fabulous. I don't feel fabulous. I'm fabulous. I do feel fabulous. I do feel fabulous. I do feel fabulous. I know how I can feel fabulous. I know that I can find myself feeling fabulous in many ways that I've never thought about. I wonder how soon I can find myself feeling more and more fabulous. I wonder what it means to feel fabulous. Where in my body would I feel the most incredible feelings? How soon can I discover myself finding myself feeling fabulous more often and delighted? And how soon could I begin to put a smile on my face that lets me know that I feel really incredibly wonderful? That goes beyond anything I know and allows me to overcome limitations and begin to feel really good and to begin to feel really powerful and confident. You cycle into it. You create the vacuum and go with the flow. You reach and let go. All right. We'll meet again. We'll have a session coming up soon, whenever that is, for Mind Design. And consider this a session. I mean, it's the bonus, but it's a session. And I think it's very powerful. And if you apply it, you will too. You see, it's never, ever going to be useful to sit as information. If you don't apply it and you complain that it didn't work, then think about what you're creating. Instead, apply it and let it work for you, no matter how long it takes. And while you're in the groups and in Mind Design and then program, then contribute and uplift and share with each other. Declare and make it so. Declare and share and uplift others. You know, sometimes when you're having a problem, the best thing to do is go out and help somebody else, and you overcome your problem by helping someone overcome their problem, because you get out of your way and you stop focusing on what's wrong with you and you start helping somebody else. That's the purpose of the pod. Share, contribute, get out of your own way. Allow, declare, I'm going to create this. This is what I'm going to do. Do it in the safe place of the pod, the people who are all in it together, working together. Don't go out and, because, Einstein was opposed and Galileo was opposed. And, everybody who's created anything great. Ford was said to be a nut. Edison, Tesla, they're all said to be, stupid or nuts by somebody. I'm not suggesting that you go out to the world or to your family and say, this is what I'm doing and this is how it's going to happen. Do it in the pods. Do it in the place. That's the purpose, by the way, of hanging out with other positive, powerful people and attending live events where we can all hang out. Like we'll have a Mind Design Day somewhere, in the world. Come and join, and come in. We'll have like a convention or a workshop or something. Come and join a live event, because in those live events is where decisions are made, where you go to make a decision about your life. You go to learn to create newness and to hang with other powerful people and to contribute to them, to recognize and acknowledge. Because when you recognize, acknowledge, and you praise and you enthusiastically cheer other people on and are happy for their successes, you get more of that too. As long as you're stingy, if you go, oh my God, how come that person's doing well and I'm not, then it reproduces after its kind. So one of the things you can do is keep the slogan in mind. It reproduces after its kind is a good one to keep in mind. Well, plenty of them in Mind Design. So you do that. Keep it in your mind and keep it in your heart. Transform yourself. Have a great day and make every day count. Make every day a miracle. Make every day fabulous. You see, if you say, hey, you know what? How you doing? I'm fabulous. I'm great. I'm wonderful. I'm terrific. And I'm getting better. Inspire, bless, heal, prosper, inspire, and motivate. Or motivate, inspire, uplift. Namaste. You've been great. And I've had a pleasure of your company. Take this. Transform yourself. Transform your light. Light your candle. And let millions of people light off of you. All right? Enjoy. Next time. See you in the pods.